This is something that another American who had previously been detained in Russia for nearly 3 years, Trevor Reed, had wanted to see when we spoke just this week in that exclusive interview we brought you right here on NBC News in the last 24 hours. Reed telling me that he wanted to see more being done to try to get Whelan and Griner home. Here's what he said.
We need to get them out as soon as we possibly can, and if that involves making an exchange, then we need to do that.
Even if that exchange is for, let's say, Victor Bout?
Even if it's for Victor Bout, it doesn't matter.
I want to bring in now Jonathan Franks, who serves as a spokesperson for Trevor Reed's family. Of course, Reed released himself on a prisoner swap. Jonathan, I'm glad to have you on the show. Thanks for being with us. Your reaction here to the news that is coming out of the State Department just this afternoon.
Bravo, right? I have frequently been one that said that the administration needs to do more. I've thought that Victor Bout should be traded for some time because he's not in prison for the Merchant of Death allegations. And we need to bring our people home.
You represent not just Trevor Reed and his family, but other families who want to see their loved ones who they believe are wrongfully detained come home too. Have you heard from any of them in the last, I know it's only been a half an hour since this news has broken, not even, Jonathan, but I wonder if your phone's been blowing up.
My phone's been blowing up, but not necessarily from families. I would say we have at least 15 wrongfully detained Americans who could be brought home with the prisoner trade. And I think Trevor's trade was objectively a success for the administration. And I'd like to see them continue and build on that huge success that the president had.
In just about 15 minutes, we are expecting to hear from the White House press secretary. I cannot imagine she will not be asked about this latest development here coming out of state. And it's worth noting here that typically, and Andrea Mitchell knows this, she was just joining us and talking about how the State Department really doesn't get into specifics, right? When it comes to things like prisoner swaps, names, et cetera. It's not something they like to talk about publicly. Presumably, if this is a swap for Victor Bout in exchange for the freedom of Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan, this is something that President Biden himself, we imagine, would have to sign off on, Jonathan.
Absolutely. He would require commuting Victor Bout's sentence, and only President Biden can do that. And I think Victor Bout goes home in 5 or 6 years, whether we like it or not, whether we like him or not. And we get much more than that off of Paul Whelan's sentence, and I think we'll ultimately get a bunch off of Brittney Griner's sentence too. So to me, the Russians have been after Victor Bout since 2016, and they need to, they've now got the offer on the table. They need to take it.
As you know, one of the things that Trevor told me was that he was very grateful to President Biden and the White House for getting him out, but that he wanted to see the White House be doing more, that he was not satisfied with the public pace of how the process is going. We've been running around with this breaking news. I haven't had a chance to talk to Trevor. Have you had a chance to speak with him? How might he be reacting this afternoon, given this news?
I haven't had a chance to speak to him. He's been busy today. I mean, he's got a lot going on now that he's back. I know that he has been a champion since he got released for these kind of trades and to encourage the president to build on his success. And he is incredibly grateful to President Biden. He said that since the beginning. But he also wants to see more people come home. And I don't necessarily buy that that's a criticism of President Biden, right? I actually see that as Trevor saying, build on your success, have another huge success, maybe 15 more huge successes.
Jonathan Franks, spokesperson for the family of Trevor Reed. Jonathan, thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. Appreciate your time.